Welcome back, everyone. So as you can see, we're doing a transmission cooler upgrade. I bought myself, this is what comes in this kit. A few clamps, some mounts, some adapter of some sort. Yeah, anyways, I bought it at a local auto parts store, and it comes with this line. So anyways, it's the Hayden model one. It's the, let me see the part number. So it's right here, the 17510. If any of you guys are interested, it's not very expensive. This model here, I believe I paid like $72. This is the, I believe, like 9.5 height and then 11 inches wide. I believe 23 or 24 of the, anyways, the lines where the oil runs through. So yeah, so today I'm gonna start the project, probably try to finish it. I mean, it's late afternoon right now, so I'm gonna try to start it today and finish it, take the bumper off. And yeah, I bought myself a bunch of clamps and extra hose and the 3/8 adapters, and yeah, some mounting brackets and all that. All this with everything cost me about $120 for everything, with the adapters, with the extra clamps and the hose and all that. So yeah. Oh, if some of you may ask, why did I go to my local parts store to get a transmission cooler? Well, first of all, you want a transmission cooler to do the job and do the job right, and you want to make sure it's quality. I did my research. I looked at the reviews. A lot of people have used it for years. I looked at some reviews that are a year, 2 years old, and you know, a bunch of reviews, and people are happy. I mean, it got almost 5-star reviews on all of them. I mean, it could have included a couple more brackets and a couple more stuff. I mean, you know, it's pretty much a generic one, even though technically they say it's supposed to fit our car, but it's a generic one that we have to fit ourselves. So yeah, today we're gonna try to fit it with everything. I mean, its reviews are good, it looks pretty solid, there's nothing off about it. And I mean, what's the difference? I mean, I installed this, if it does the job, you know, I paid 70 bucks for this cooler. You go to, you know, you want to get anything high-end ones, probably gonna do the same job, and it costs 4 or 5 times as much. You know, what's the point? I wanted to get something as cheap as possible, but quality as well. I mean, I did my research. There's some cheap ones that are not as good quality and not as good reviews. This one has good reviews, so I'm pretty confident this is gonna do the job. I mean, it's pretty solid. There's, like I said, I looked at it. I mean, it's pretty solid. I mean, it's a 3/4 inch thickness is 3 3/4. It's pretty thick, pretty nice cooler. I mean, upgrade. I'm gonna run it off the return line off the original cooler, so I'm definitely gonna keep the original cooler for now, and we'll see. So we got the bumper off. I'm not gonna do the how to remove the bumper video, because I already did that. If you guys, any of you guys are interested, go check out my custom intercooler install. I explained how to take off the bumper and all that. So, but anyways, we ran into an issue here with the cooler I got. So pretty much what we got to work with, roughly, let's say 7 inches tops if you want the lines to fit, preferably 5-6 if you want the lines to fit perfectly. Maybe top 7, I don't know. I mean, let's see here. Yeah, I wouldn't run anything above 7 inches here, and that one was 9.5. So I had to run back to the store, and luckily they had the same exact company, but just a smaller one, Hayden. This model is the, let's see here, the 17508. This is the smaller one. This one is, I believe, 5.5 or, hold on, let me see here. They have the chart here. Wait, so this one is 6 inches by 11. So this cooler is 6 inches by 11. So, and this one fits pretty nicely. As you guys can see, watch, right here. That's how it fits. It'll be right there, kinda. So I'm gonna mount it there. So I'm gonna mount it through the bolts there. I drilled holes in these earpieces here. So I'm gonna mount it to here, and then I'm gonna put a bracket that goes behind the cooler up to the top, so behind the cooler up to the top here, and then put a bolt through there, so that way it has support on the bottom and kind of behind it a little bit. So I'm going to cut out a piece of metal like that, about an inch, and then I'm just gonna run it behind the cooler right there, and on this side behind it. So yeah, it's for more support. So to give you guys an update, as you guys can see, it's all installed. Those the bolts right there, and then behind it, like I told you, I cut the little bracket, and I ran that little bracket from this bolt on top all the way to the bottom one behind it, and I painted it black so you can't see it, so that way it's holding onto that bolt and it supports the whole cooler itself, so it doesn't bend back and forth. So right now, I mean, it's pretty sturdy. I mean, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. It's pretty stiff. So I'm really happy how this came out. And next thing, I'm gonna run the lines, and the lines are gonna go through. There's a hole back there. I don't know if it was for the intake or what it is for, but there's a big opening there. So I'm just gonna run it to the return line, from the return line here on the cooler, which is the bottom one. So I'm gonna run it from the bottom one to the cooler, from the cooler all the way to the tranny on the bottom. I'll show you guys later where that is. But yeah, the first step is done. I wanted to mount the cooler so that way, you know, we can hook up the lines and then fill the transmission. My hands are dirty as who knows what. There's an update. So got the lines on, hooked up, going through the vent through here. One goes to the cooler, to the return line on the bottom there to the cooler, and one goes on the bottom of the engine to the where the return line hooks up right there. You see where the clamp is? Yeah, right there. That's where the other line was. So yeah, tomorrow we'll fill the transmission, make sure the level is correct, and then put it all together. Whew. So if you guys, any of you guys watched my transmission oil change video, this is what I used. This is pretty much the same quality or better than the original one from Liquid Moly. This is made in Germany. So I added about almost full bottle of this, you know, to accommodate for the cooler and the lines and everything. I mean, if you overfill it by like half a liter or something, it's not gonna hurt it, because I mean, you're not gonna be driving it. You're just gonna start it up, shift it through gears, heat it up to the temperature, and then pull out the level plug. If you guys want to know the details, you can go check out my video that I did the transmission oil change. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So I filled the bottle pretty much of this, and then I'm gonna start it up, get it up to temperature, and then put the car level, and then open the level plug, and then level the transmission fluid out. Oh yeah, and if any of you guys are curious, the fill plug is right there. Well, my funnel is stuck into it. It just looks like this. You're gonna need a Torx 55. So now I'm in the gearbox. I'm checking the temperature. The temperature is 100 degrees right now, Fahrenheit. So for the level plug, to check the level in these transmissions, they have to be between 50 and 60 Celsius, or 122 to 140 Fahrenheit. And the car has to be running in park when you pull the level plug. But anyways, like I said, you can check the transmission oil change video if you guys want to know the details. But it's, yeah, 50 to 60 degrees Celsius and 122 to 140 Fahrenheit. So you gotta have something that you can access the gearbox temperature right there that you have to watch. So when it's gonna be between 122 and 140, so I'm guessing I'm gonna put it about 130. Once it's 130, I'm gonna go and pull the level plug. The car has to be level, and it has to be running in park when you pull the level plug. And then all the extra oil will drain, and then once it starts dripping slowly, then you can just close it up and you're all good. You can see the gearbox temperature is 134. When I hit 130, I went outside with the car idling in park. I pulled the fill plug, I mean the level plug, the little one from the big one, and it did drain out just a little bit. I maybe 0.1, 0.2 quarts. So yeah, I didn't overfill it. It wasn't nowhere near half a quart overfilled, so it almost took 1 quart of the lines that I added and the cooler, extra cooler. So yeah, now it's good. I'm gonna put the car down, take it for a test drive, come back, check for leaks, make sure there's no leaks, and yeah, should be good. Alright, so I'm gonna go for a drive right now. The car is already at normal operating temperature, obviously, because I had to heat it up, the transmission, to check the level. So I'm gonna go on a street and where there's higher speeds, and I'm gonna accelerate hard quite a bit, times, you know, 0 to like 45 or something like that, or 50, and then maybe go hit the freeway, and then I'll watch the temperatures and I'll tell you guys what's the highest temperature that has been with the additional cooler, and hopefully nothing decides to pop or bust. None of the lines, everything stays put, and yeah, I'll be back. So I'm driving right now, I'm beating on it quite a bit. Well, I mean, I went on the freeway, I slowed down, accelerated hard, slowed down, accelerated hard like 4 times or 5 to test, you know, to get it, you know, pretty much, that's pretty much how you're gonna get the car really hot. And now I'm driving, I'm in sport mode, and I'm shifting myself with the paddle shifter. So far, let's see here, the highest I've seen is like 204 temperature in the transmission. So I mean, if it got this hot without, you know, with the cooler, with the 2 coolers, original and the additional one, with the additional one that I added is like twice the size as the original one. So I mean, there's 2 coolers, I double or tripled the cooler that was on there, and it's getting, I mean, the hottest I've seen so far is like 205. That's the it hasn't got past that. I wasn't able to get it past that, even though I floored it, you know, I took, you know, I abused it a little bit, not abused it, but like, you know, I put it in sport mode to keep the RPMs up, shifted it myself, you know, try to keep it up just to see how hot the transmission will get if you're kind of a little bit aggressive on it, because, you know, when you're doing pulls, you're going to a drag strip, you kind of want to, that's what you're going to be doing, so you kind of want to know the transmission temperature. So yeah, that's my findings so far, 205. I wasn't able to see, you know, anything above that yet. So I may go around a couple more times and see, but yeah, so far I have not seen it go above 204, 205. And I've driven it probably like 5-7 miles. So yeah, I mean, that's probably as hot as it's gonna get. I mean, today the temperature outside is 70 degrees. It's sunny, it's not cold. So I mean, if it was really hot outside, it probably would have got to 10, maybe to 15 tops, I would think. Because I mean, with me beating on it, I mean, like, you know, going hard, flooring it a couple times, I wasn't able to get it above 205. So if 7 miles, you know, kind of being aggressive on the transmission, wasn't able to get it past 205 now, I doubt that I'll get it past 215 in hot weather. So yeah, I mean, temperatures are pretty steady. I mean, you don't really want it to go above like 220, I think I heard. That's really 215, 220, that's when it starts getting dangerous for the transmission. Transmission does not like it above those temperatures. So if you can keep the transmission below 210, yeah, I mean, you're golden. But this, I mean, the cooler I got, it's like what, 49 bucks. I mean, it's pretty decent cooler. The reviews are good, people use them, you know. So I mean, anything bigger than that, you'd have to get a longer one. You probably can get a longer one, but you can't get bigger height wise. It has to be pretty slim. It has to be within like 5-6 inches tops. I wouldn't recommend going above that. So yeah, now I came back 205 after, you know, beating on the transmission quite a bit, you know, not beating, meaning like I floored it, kept it in sport mode, kept the RPMs high, you know, kind of gave it some juice to see what the transmission temperature will climb above. But you know, I was able to get it about 205 tops. That's what the scan tool read. So the normal operating temperature for transmission is about 195. It's pretty much the same as the engine temperature. So the best to keep the transmission temperature within about 200 to 195 to, let's say, 210, that you probably would be okay. Anything above 210 is kind of already starting. If you hit 220, yeah, it's not good for the transmission. So if you guys are, you know, doing racing, going to a drag strip or anything, make sure you keep an eye on the transmission, because I mean, by beating on the car a little bit with an extra cooler that I installed, I was able to get it to 205. I can only imagine what the transmission will get, how high the temperatures would get with just the original cooler, which is just tiny. So yeah, the upgrade, you know, anyways, I'll go over the cost and everything in a second. Let's check the transmission cooler. There's the line I attached, it's all good. nothing slipping off, no bubbles visible, nothing, no leaks, so everything looks proper there. Let's look at the ones that I attached here. All good, looking good, no leaks there. Let's see the last one on the bottom there. So it looks good. So everything is clean. I'm gonna have to wash this a little bit because when I took the line off, kind of the residue from me doing it. But yeah, everything looks clean, no leaks. So I'm really proud of what I did. I mean, yeah, so everything looks good. Now we're all done. I put the covers back on, checked, you know, make sure it doesn't leak, everything looks solid. So yeah, I'm really happy. I spent total about $100 on everything that I did. It was about 48, so I rounded it out, 50 bucks, let's say, for a cooler. I bought 2 transmission lines because the lines with that they give with the cooler, they don't fit anywhere. I bought 3/8 actual transmission rated lines. I had to even heat up the ends a little bit to stretch just a tiny bit so it will fit over the fittings where the old original lines went on the cooler and on the adapter where the hooks up on the transmission itself. Because yeah, I heated it up and it kind of just stretched it just a tiny bit so it just goes on, because I mean there's nothing really in between 3/8 and ½ inch. ½ inch is too big and 3/8 is a little bit too small, so I had to get those. And then yeah, so I put those on, and then the other line I ran one from, you know, the cooler to the transmission and one from the cooler to the new cooler. So yeah, I spent about $100. That's with some bolts I got, with bunch of stuff, you know, like bolts, nuts, locking nuts and all that. I purchased those. With everything, it came out to about $100, and then obviously my time. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy. I could have probably, and I might end up upgrading the cooler, but I mean, everything is there now. So even if I do decide to upgrade the cooler, I mean, 40 bucks, 46 or 48 bucks for this cooler, I mean, it will do the job for now. I mean, it will be a lot better than it was originally. So I just needed something, you know, that would cool the transmission down better where I'm at now at stage 2. Once I go to stage 3, I may end up upgrading the LC. I don't know, but yeah, I'm excited. So that will be it for today's video. Hope you guys have found it helpful. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I'll do my best to reply to them. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the result. I mean, I didn't even spend probably not even $100, and that's the result I got. I, you know, increased the cooling of the transmission, so it's gonna be better. Maybe in the future I'll upgrade it, you know, to a better one. Maybe I'll find a better cooler. Maybe not. Maybe that'll be enough. We'll see. If that one holds up and the temperatures are below 210, I don't think I'm gonna bother upgrading. But if they do climb up 220 and up, you know, when I will go to the drag strip, I won't be abusing it a lot. But you know, we'll see. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, recommend my channel to your friends, and as usual, see you next time.